So I kind of don't believe it, but Europe's plan to freeze your money and your property just got even more crazy this week. But what's really scary is I think we have confirmation that this plan has just spread to America. Now, a lot of my American friends are saying, look, I don't care that Europe's banning private transactions. I don't care that Europe's got cash controls, new CBDCs and digital IDs. It will never come to America. President Trump is outlawed CBDCs. But then this week, I saw two things come out of America that really got me concerned and maybe a little bit worried that the World Economic Forum's plan that you will own nothing and you will be happy might also be rolled out in America. Because why else would Donald Trump be talking about 50-year mortgages? Have a look at this tweet from Truth Social earlier in the week. Again, this is a very controversial plan. We're going to dive into this more in a moment, but this came out nearly on the same day that New York's mayor, well, I'm just going to play the video for you guys because you won't believe me unless I actually play it for you. Take a listen to what New York's brand new mayor just said about private property this week.
And to overhaul the mayor's office to protect tenants, bringing code enforcement under one roof and making sure that agencies are working together to hold bad landlords accountable. Starting on day one, we will expand the city's special enforcement programs, doubling fines for hazardous violations and tripling them for conditions that are immediately dangerous. And when a really bad landlord, like this guy, refuses to fix it, the city's gonna step in, make the repairs, and send them the bill. If that doesn't work, the city's taking over the building.
Whoa. Hang on a minute. The city is taking over the building? So you hear the deeper, darker truth embedded in what these bureaucrats are saying. They say, look, okay, dangerous building. This is horrible. These landlords need to fix their buildings. Obviously, look, this can be dangerous. They give you a shred of truth. And then they sneak that one-liner in there. Oh, but if they don't fix the problem, the state is going to take over the building. Does that? What does that sound like? I'll play the rest of this video for you guys to listen to this in a little bit more detail. But again, never, ever, ever miss their true message. They're hiding it in plain sight.
If that doesn't work, the city's taking over the building. We're putting the worst landlords out of business. And we're going to transform 311 by bringing the latest in cutting-edge technology. Scheduling appointments with inspectors so you actually know when they're showing up to your apartment. And the best part? You're gonna pay for this! But actually, bad landlords are gonna pay for this.
Well, guess what? You're all gonna pay for it, because what happens when the state starts confiscating private property? It is all over. And what's the old quote? First, they come for the criminals, then they come for the outlaws, then they come for bad landlords. Again, this is the state of New York, but this isn't just a New York issue. This isn't just a New York story. And this also isn't the first time that New York's new mayor has talked about abolishing private property or confiscating private property or coming after the landlord's houses. This was not a Freudian slip of the tongue in that little skit, that little comedy skit. Well, it wasn't a comedy skit. This is an official video he released the day after winning the New York mayor election. He said similar things like this in the past, which I just think confirms New York is not the place that I'm going to be choosing to live. Let's listen to this other video.
The Vienna model will have to go beyond the market. We can establish community land trusts to gradually buy up housing on the private market and convert it to community ownership.
Buy up houses on the open market and convert it to community ownership. What?
We can give tenants a right of first refusal to buy out their landlords when buildings go up for sale. And we can fully commit to a new era of social housing, ending subsidies for luxury housing development and using our wealth to build beautiful, high-quality social housing projects that offer good homes and strong communities to everyone. We won't decommodify housing overnight, but we know what we have to do, and we have history to guide us.
Wait on a minute. Just take a listen to this bit again.
Beyond the market. We can establish community land trusts to gradually buy up housing on the private market and convert it to community ownership. We can give tenants a right of first refusal to buy out their landlords when buildings go up for sale.
Okay, so this is pretty clear what New York's plan for private property is. They are going full 1984 and they are coming for your money. And again, let's go back to the coincidental timing of this announcement coming out the exact same week that Donald Trump takes to Truth Social and makes this little image. Great American presidents. President Roosevelt, 30-year mortgages. Trump is now talking about 50-year mortgages. Now, again, as Tarek here in the chat says, just wait for the 100-year mortgages. They are absolutely coming. And that is, I think, the end game. It will go from 30-year mortgages to 50-year mortgages to 100-year mortgages. And then, as the World Economic Forum has openly said, everything you own, the state will own. And eventually, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Let's remind you guys of what the WEF's deeper, darker end game really is. Because again, they've been very open, transparent. They've been predicting this for nearly a decade. This video, I believe, came out in 2017. 2016, believe it or not. That's kind of insane when you think about it. And again, what was the political climate like in 2016? Trump got elected. The world was distracted, distract, divide, and they've just quietly advanced their plans year after year. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about America in a moment, but I just want to remind some of my European friends of a couple of things we haven't talked about. So earlier in the week, we looked at the European Central Bank's admission on their very own website that their CBDC will have something called a holding limit. Now, again, it sounds a little bit Orwellian talking about this idea of restricting the amount of digital euros someone can hold to between 500 and 3,000 euros. That came out last week. But something we haven't covered is, let's be very clear, they have tried to block the exit doors here, the death of privacy in crypto. EU's 2027 ban raises existential questions. So for those who don't know, they have passed laws that will literally ban all private transactions in Bitcoin or crypto. So again, what is the escape valve from this attack on your property and savings? So many people get into the comments and they say, well, there's three solutions, three ways out. You can hide cash under the mattress. Well, guess what? Europe recently passed more cash controls earlier this year, limiting to cash transactions of 10,000 or less. So that quote unquote solution is banned. Gold and silver is another solution that a lot of people say, look, we can buy gold, we can buy silver. Well, let's not forget, you can't take more than $10,000 of physical gold or silver across a border. So, that is also banned. And then, of course, some people say Bitcoin and crypto is a way outside of the system. And guess what? Now, with these new laws, that will not be possible by 2027. They're coming after all of it. And this is just the communist playbook. This is what we've seen time and time again. This shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. This is, I think, just an entree of what is to come. Here's another article breaking down the EU targeting anonymous transactions by 2027. They are absolutely coming. And again, I want this to be clear. This video is not a political video. I don't care about Zoran Mamdani's background or whether he's left or right. That's not the focus of this channel. I've told you guys from day one of this channel. Doesn't matter whether it's left or right. They all have the same end game. Unless they want to change the monetary system and adopt Bitcoin, they're going to have to pass all of the same laws. They're going to have to implement cash controls, CBDCs. They're going to be rolling those out. They're going to roll out higher taxes. They're going to open the borders. They're going to do everything that helps the bottom line. And the bottom line here is the entire world has a debt issue. And this is an economic reality that cannot be escaped. So I've told you guys from day one, unless the president adopts a Bitcoin standard, says we're going to abolish the central bank, we're going to stop printing money, then I don't trust anything they say. And again, what have we looked at here on this channel? Donald Trump signed an executive order nearly a year ago now, in March earlier this year, saying we're going to build out a strategic Bitcoin reserve. What headlines, what news, what confirmation have we got that America is going to be rolling out a strategic Bitcoin reserve? Anyone? Well, we were told we would get clarity of how much Bitcoin America holds within 30 days. We still haven't got that. We were also told that they would start buying. We still haven't got that. All we have got is this video of Scott Bessent saying, yeah, you know what? We're not going to sell gold. We don't care about budget neutral ways to accumulate Bitcoin. But we will continue to confiscate assets and we will add those to the strategic Bitcoin reserves. That is the only confirmation we have gotten so far. That's it. No mas. And I believe this should really begin to get you thinking. Wait on a minute. Is America the bastion for freedom that so many people think it is? Again, I've got a ton of friends in America who have said, look, yeah, I see what's going on in Europe, Luke. I get it. The UK looks horrific. Australia is passing a digital ID and a CBDC. I understand it's terrifying, but America can't go that way because President Trump said, I'm outlawing CBDCs. Look, I know it's not popular, especially in the Bitcoin space, to talk shade on Donald Trump because he's politically posturing himself correctly. He's saying a lot of the right things. I haven't seen enough follow through yet to trust the guy. Again, I don't trust any politician. And this little admission of 50-year mortgages this week, this is just making me incredibly skeptical of what their true intentions are. I think they're absolutely coming for your money. There's no going back. This is why I always encourage all of you guys, not only learn about Bitcoin, but start to acquire Bitcoin and acquire it in a way that your government doesn't know what you own. Again, that's completely legal, not financial advice, but buy some Bitcoin and make sure nobody knows about it. I think the best way to get your hands on Bitcoin without anybody knowing about it is right here with Blockware. Mining Bitcoin is the best solution. Again, they are absolutely coming. That is pretty clear by now. They're coming for your money. They're absolutely going to try to confiscate assets. They're coming for your house. The CBDCs have got holding limits. I think it is pretty clear by now what their end game is. This is why I think Bitcoin's a great solution. So again, if you want to learn more about mining Bitcoin yourself or taking advantage of a hosted mining solution, the guys at Blockware can help you out. Highly recommend you guys book a call with them and learn more about how you can even, as you can see right here, write off 100% of the cost of Bitcoin mining hardware in a single tax year. This is possible for my Americans. Again, I've questioned Donald Trump today, but he has passed some positive things, like the Big Beautiful Bill, BBB. In that BBB, it is now possible to write off 100% of your Bitcoin mining hardware costs in a year. So you could, not financial advisor, you could theoretically mine Bitcoin for free. So book a call with the guys at Blockware. They can help you more with that. And again, be incredibly skeptical. There is a reason, I believe, why we haven't seen Bitcoin buys come out of America yet. They've said the quiet parts out loud. They're going to continue to confiscate assets. Again, big picture here. This isn't just America. This is Europe. This is the UK. Rob lines it out pretty simply here. More debt, more money, prices go up. Less money, less mortgage options, prices go down. Economic reality. Ooh, I got a good video on this topic coming for you soon, Rob. Absolutely. They're coming after MicroStrategy. This is why I always tell you guys, look, this is a really simple game. Now, again, it sounds complicated. There's a lot of orange ties telling you to go buy MicroStrategy and all of these other publicly traded stocks. There's a reason why I haven't endorsed any stocks on this channel, and I keep it really simple. You buy Bitcoin or you mine it, step number one. You take custody of your Bitcoin, step number two. I believe you can do that with, again, a hardware wallet. I've used them all. Go get your hands on a hardware wallet, because what do we always say? If you don't own your Bitcoin, your private keys, that is kind of in these hardware wallets, you don't own the Bitcoin. It's as simple as that. Again, I think Trezor and Ledger are two great options for you guys to own your private keys. Trezor came out with this brand new Trezor Safe 7, which is the very first quantum ready hardware wallet. I've showed you guys this one on the channel a few times. This is super slick, very clean, very easy to use. You can actually pre-order this puppy today. Sales go live. You can get it in your hands in about 2 weeks from now, November 23rd. So pre-order that today if you want to get your hands on that. Ledger also has a ton of great options for you guys to check out. Look at all the Ledger signers. They came out with this brand new hardware wallet recently. This here is the Ledger Generation 5, 2.8-inch touchscreen. Super easy to use, very compact as well. Have a look at that. Again, not your keys, not your coins. I've told you guys this from day one. Ignore the suit coiners. Again, I think the deeper we go into this bull market, the louder these suit coiners are going to get. And to Rob's point in the chat here, the suit coiners are going to tell you, oh, go buy MicroStrategy, diversify, go get some yield generating stocks. I think all of this is a trap. British Hodl's got some great rules for Bitcoin. My rules are slightly different, but similar. You buy Bitcoin, you put it in self-custody, then you back up your Bitcoin. Again, what's another essential tool in your Bitcoin toolkit? Put in your Bitcoin 12 or 24 words onto titanium. Look what I got here for you guys. These are the titanium plates you guys can get from Stampseed. Take a listen to them. How loud is that? It's loud because it's real titanium. Again, paper is not where you should put your 12 or 24 words onto. I always tell you guys, so many people think that they do step 2 of the process. They buy a hardware wallet and then they just back up this hardware wallet with paper. Don't do that. Put it onto titanium. This is a very essential step. So again, highly recommend you guys check out the solutions from Stampseed. I love Stampseed because they produce titanium, not stainless steel. Stainless steel is okay, but it's not the best. Titanium is better. They're going to give you 15% off anything you want to buy with that promo code Luke15. And once you got your Bitcoin in your custody and it's backed up, all these price swings are noise. Now, speaking of price swings, let's have a look at where Bitcoin is. It's in a very interesting place right now. I'm going to talk more about the price and the markets in a video I've got prepped for you guys this week. But I'll just say, oh, I'm not sharing my screen. You're stuck looking at my big ugly head. This is the price of Bitcoin. I think a lot of people are very scared right now. They're very fearful. What I find interesting is Bitcoin's just kind of pulled back to this 50-week moving average. Again, I'm not a trading channel. This is not technical analysis. I think it's all fugazi and BS. Never going to sell you guys a trading course. Nobody knows where the price of Bitcoin is going in the short term or the medium term. Caveats out of the way before we look at some squiggly lines. But I will say, I think it's kind of interesting. Bitcoin pulls back to this 50-week moving average in a bull run. We're at 104,000, and I think this week is going to be a very decisive week for Bitcoin. We're nearly halfway through November. I think the next 6 months will be kind of decided by the next couple of weeks. So all I'm going to say is look out. All I'm going to say is, speaking of Donald Trump, who also saw this announcement earlier in the week, Trump announces $2,000 tariff dividend. Every time we see a 20 or 30% correction, we know somebody scoops up a lot of Bitcoin on the private, on the quiet, and then Trump comes out and says, yeah, market correction over. I was just posturing. Markets can go up now. Again, I'm going to break all of that down in a future video for you guys to have a little bit of a look at. I'd be worried. I'm not worried is the wrong word. I just want you guys to keep your eyes peeled. Don't get complacent because you're in America. And you think Trump's going to protect your property rights. Again, we are how long into Trump's presidency? About a year. And what have we seen so far? Diddly squat. A lot of posturing. Saying a lot of nice things. But where's the strategic Bitcoin reserve? Why are we rolling out 50-year mortgages? Why is the mayor of New York talking about confiscating property? Why are digital IDs and digital driver's licenses being rolled out to over 30 different states? Keep your eyes peeled. It's all I'm recommending you guys do. Because I'm just not very trusting of any politician. With all that said, guys, I want to keep this one super short and sharp. 21-minute rip. Just a quick little update of what I saw during the week. Again, I get it. It's fearful. Politicians are coming for our property. They're going to continue to do so. What's the solution? We have a solution. Bitcoin is self-custody. Again, the world is full of problem identifiers, but without a solution, it's just noise. So again, stay optimistic. We have a solution. They will continue to come for your property. Arm yourself with what's going on. And I think the best note to end things on, I used to dream of a pullback to 100K. Kind of crazy world we're living in, isn't it? If you want to learn a little bit more about why I think a pullback to 100K is your perfect opportunity to buy a little bit of generational wealth and just how much Bitcoin I think you need to own generational wealth. I did a video on that topic recently. I'm going to put a link to that one somewhere around there. And if you want to know a little bit more about this term, holdings limits, savings limits, coming out of Europe and the UK, I also did a deep dive on that topic earlier in the week. I'm going to put a link to that video somewhere around there. With all that said, guys, thanks for tuning in. Happy Sunday. Happy positive Sunday. I'll see you all in the next stream.